Hi guys! In this video, I will break down this interactive 360 real-time experience, which is a part of my newest project done in Unreal Engine. I've created it using blueprints, which are a visual scripting system that lets you create gameplay logic without writing code. They use a node-based interface to connect events, actions, and variables, making it easy to design interactions, animations, and mechanics. First, I will present you with the experience, and then I will break down how it was made. We start outside, in front of the house. This allows you to explore the entire house at your own pace. When I move closer to the doors, a widget pops up with the information to press the Z key. If you click it, the doors will open. I've set up all the doors in this project to be interactable. When I go inside, the exposure adjusts automatically, just like your eyes, making the interiors nice and bright. You can go wherever you like, explore all the corners, and check all the details. When you are inside, the exterior is very bright, but when I walk out, it adjusts again. You can also use an automatic exposure, which adjusts to where you look. It's your choice. I've also made these glass windows interactive. Let's open them. Now, we can go inside. We are unable to go through any object thanks to collisions. We can also turn the lights off and on. When I open these doors, we are back in the bedroom. Let's close them. I've also designed a user menu that allows viewers to customize the various aspects of the scene. We can access it by pressing the M key. For example, you can easily switch between different house styles by simply clicking this button. Additionally, the menu includes sliders that let you fine-tune the interior lighting intensity, giving you full control over the mood. Thanks to Lumen, when we change the material style, the lighting and global illumination update automatically, ensuring a seamless transition that looks realistic. One of the cool features of the 360 experience is the ability to see the house in different lighting scenarios. Here, we're toggling between day and night, and Lumen adjusts the lighting instantly, ensuring a consistent and realistic look, whether it's bright daylight or the soft glow of nighttime lighting. We can also control the lighting temperature. Let me show you the exterior. First and foremost, we're completely safe from falling, thanks to the collisions I've carefully set up throughout the scene. We are able to walk down using stairs. The greenery looks absolutely stunning, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. In the menu, we also have the option to change the season, instantly switching the vegetation materials to match the new environment. Pretty cool, right? Let me change it back to the summer season. Let's explore the other parts of the site. I've ensured that we're blocked from jumping into the water, keeping the experience smooth and realistic. Hope you liked it. Now I will break down how it was done. First, we need a first-person navigation. Unreal has a bunch of templates we can use to save some time. I've started with this first-person game template. It is not ideal for ArchViz though, we don't need to jump. And definitely don't have to shoot. In the blueprint, I deleted the arms. It's this first-person mesh. I also delete these nodes to disable jumping. This template has another problem. Right now, the preview is very shaky. The movement of the camera is very rapid, which can cause motion sickness to a viewer. To improve that, I put the camera on a spring arm and enabled camera rotation lag. Here you can adjust the speed of this effect. With that change, the experience is way more enjoyable. The camera is nice and smooth. In this video, I will do just a relatively quick breakdown. In our Unreal Engine course specifically designed for ArchViz artists and architects, we cover the full process of creating this experience, step by step, in 24 lessons module. It's available for pre-order now. Be sure to check out our website for all the details. We cover how to create animations, visualizations, and real-time interactive experiences step by step. But that's not all. The whole course contains over 120 lessons covering the theory and practice. We start by explaining the first steps in Unreal Engine. Then we will cover the theory behind our 8-step system for perfect visualizations and animations. We will teach you all about lighting in Unreal. We prepared a separate module with over 20 lessons dedicated to greenery and landscaping. And finally, we'll explain how we did this animation. To ensure the smooth learning process, all the assets will be included in the course or available to download for free from the app. All of the furniture and textures were provided by Remote. Join now! Next, let me walk you through the user menu. I created it using a widget blueprint from the user interface section. This area here is the screen space, and in my setup, the menu appears in the top left corner. After setting up the base, I added various elements such as text labels and interactive components that trigger events. This is a button. In its settings, I've configured an on-clicked event. This means that when I press the button, this event triggers a series of actions. Here is this event, along with other nodes in the graph editor. I have also utilized sliders. In this case, a value change triggers an event. In addition to triggering an event, sliders can also streamline the value. Here, I've set a starting value, along with a minimum and maximum range for the slider. In the graph editor, this event generates two outputs, the trigger and the value. I've mapped the M key to open the menu. To enable mouse movement, press Shift plus F1. Once that's done, I can click any button or adjust the slider to trigger events. Now, let's cover the lighting. Outside, I'm using a simple sun and sky setup. Thanks to Lumen, I can adjust it in real time, both while working on the project and during the actual experience. You can see that clicking the button triggers the event, like we discussed previously. In this case, I simply rotate the sky to the night position. When I click the day button, the sun rotates back to the daytime position. This can also be achieved with HDRI lighting, which we cover in the course. In this scenario, you'll need to replace the HDRI texture. Inside, I have several spotlights installed on the ceiling, all of which can be controlled through the user menu. Every setting can be changed through blueprints. I chose to use sliders to adjust both the intensity and color temperature. As I mentioned before, sliders transfer the value to the blueprint. I've just decreased it to 0, which is visible here. Then I set the light intensity to this value. Now it's 4. When I move the slider to the center, it's close to 2, which is my starting value. The same logic applies to the temperature, but with different values. Additionally, there are lamps containing point lights that can be turned on and off within the experience. I'll go into more detail about those later. Next, let me tell you how I set exposure in this project. I am not a fan of auto exposure, so I've used a post-process volume and set it to cover my entire level. I've set the exposure mode to manual and adjusted the value, so it looks good outside. We have a problem though. When we go inside, there is not as much light there, and everything looks really dark. To address this, I've added an additional post-process volume shaped like the interior of the house. I've increased the exposure to brighten the space and ensured that the infinite extent option is turned off, so the new settings only apply when we're inside this volume. That fixed the issue. In this case, we are flexible and can adjust the exposure separately for exterior and interior. Collisions play a crucial role in shaping the user experience throughout this environment. Here, strategically placed blocking volumes are used to control player movement. For instance, these volumes prevent users from accidentally falling off the platform. We are able to go down using the stairs though. Additionally, users are restricted from stepping onto gravel and grass areas. All the objects in the scene have to have collisions set up as well. This will prevent users from going through the windows, for example. When I open them, we can easily step inside. We can preview the player collisions here. Lastly, let me show you the most complicated part. In the experience, I have a bunch of objects we can interact with. I was able to achieve that thanks to Blueprint interface. It is a way to create a set of functions that different blueprints can use to communicate with each other without being directly connected. Then, I've created a widget. Same thing as the menu, but this time I place just a simple text in the middle of the screen. I show this widget when we look at the object we can interact with and hide it when we don't look at such an object. I have another event that I can trigger by pressing the Z key. Here, I want to rotate the doors. I will rotate by -90 degrees in the Z-axis. Let's test it. It works, but the doors are jumping to the new position instantly. Instead, we need a smooth transition. To animate the door movement, we will need the timeline node. Double-click to open the timeline node. We have to add a new track here. Here we can set the length of the animation. I will set it to 1 second. Then let's add keyframes. Here we can set a time and a value. I will set the time to 0 and the value to 0 as well. Then let's set the second keyframe to a second one and set the value to -90. Great. Now we can take the value from the timeline node and connect it to the Z rotation input. Let's test it. Other objects in the scene are done using the same logic. Here we simply hide and show the light. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more in-depth tutorials and project breakdowns, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. And if you want to learn how to create these kinds of projects yourself, check out my new Unreal Engine course, where I will show you everything step by step. Bye-bye!